Hello everybody, here we are, and without any further delay, let's simply get started. But before that, good morning to all of you. I hope you guys are doing great. And in this live, of course, we'll be doing the same thing. Yesterday, I worked on the basic setup a little, like the setup of Google Meet clone. And because we are working on some other tech stack, so we had to quite learn a lot as well. And this is how it went yesterday. And I think I've been live. I had been live for 2.5 an hour max, not more than that. So today, what's gonna be the goal? First of all, at least I'm gonna be giving it 3 hours. It can be more, but 3 hours I'm gonna continuously work on this project, and let's see how much we can do. Because concepts are clear, everything's clear. We have to just simply write the code. Once the code is written, we have to just simply go ahead from here on. But before that, basic setups should be ready, and that's what I'm on right now. Let me copy this thing from here as well. Copy the link. Hopefully no one is gonna call me, and as okay, I've turned off the mic, otherwise it was making a lot of noise. And as expected, let me just do one thing. I'm supposed to be sending the link over here so that other people can actually, I mean, they may know that okay, this is what we are covering here. And as for this, it's not gonna work, I think, in one go. Why is that so? I think this is how it goes, if I'm not wrong. Probably. Uh, that's not bad either, but let me see if that happens the way it is being shown or not. Probably it's gonna be the same. Okay, then never mind. Let's simply get started from here on. And coming back to this one, what am I gonna do? The simple thing, we worked on the setup yesterday a little bit. We will be working on quite a lot today too, and this is how we are gonna be done. And as for, let's see how we are gonna be getting this stuff done here. Google Meet clone, this is the one that we are gonna be going with. Let's simply open it with the code. Again, this is a turbo repo setup. I'm using Bun over here, and Bun is gonna help us quite a lot. Okay, so this is how I'm gonna be going ahead. Yesterday, most of the things were covered. The auth related stuff was done. So okay, I have to just simply export it from here, and the DB setup is also done. So in that case, as I have my user collection, so using user collection, I will be able to make calls and all. This is what I'm able to do, but there's a problem. If I'm using MongoDB, is there any way to define the schema with a better auth? If I am using MongoDB, is there any way to define the schema when I use it with Next.js with and better auth? Let's see. Even though MongoDB schema is lesser, you can still define the schema with Next.js and better auth. There are 3 common ways. Using use Mongoose, most common Mongoose lets you define the schema just like SQL. So okay, now every document must follow its structure. Use Zod for schema validation, very popular. And then use Prisma with MongoDB. Oh, I think this is the best way. Using Prisma with MongoDB, but better auth usually doesn't require Prisma. Best approach for your tech stack. Since you are building Next.js full stack and exploring modern desktop, usually is Mongo driver plus Zod. So Mongo driver plus Zod. So I will have to use Mongo driver, then Zod is actually going to be used there. So request validate with Zod, insert into MongoDB. Better auth already defines auth schemas internally, such as users, sessions, accounts, and verification tokens. Okay. User additional fields, role, this. Recommended for your tech stack. The thing is that I have to use Mongo client and all. Can't really use Mongoose with better auth. Okay, so when we using better auth, you normally use the native Mongo driver with MongoDB, meaning Mongo client, not Mongoose. So you cannot rely on Mongoose schema, but you can still define the schema other ways. So use Zod for schema validation. So I'm gonna be using Zod over here. Validate before saving. So collections dot insert one before that. Ding, ding, ding. Don't really have any other way. I will have to go with Zod, and that is it. Nothing else. So use TypeScript interfaces, compile time only. Use MongoDB schema validation. So we can use this. That's interesting. Use MongoDB schema validation, database level. MongoDB also supports JSON schema validation. So this way it's gonna be going on. So users validator $JSON. So whenever we are creating this users, at that time we can define its schema, and JSON type required are gonna be name and email. Properties are gonna be name, JSON type string, and this. But this is rarely used in Next.js apps. So best tech stack for your case is gonna be Next.js, Mongo client, Betterauth, and Zod. Okay, validator with the Zod. This is just for learning purpose. Otherwise, I would normally be using what? First of all, with the Next.js, I would normally be using Prisma, PostgreSQL, and then getting the things done. And if I'm actually building the separate backend, because I'm not allowed to use Mongoose here because of Next.js, and mainly Betterauth, because I'm using Betterauth for authentication. But Betterauth can be used with Prisma easily, so I can go with that. And most of the time, when you just authenticate the users, at that time, the best thing could be that you are actually using SQL, because that is mainly more optimized for authentication and all. And keeping this thing in mind, how about mm, that's gonna be problematic. I still have to think how to verify the how to authenticate the user in a separate server. By the way, request validate and then insert using Mongo client and all. This is how it's gonna be going ahead. Let's do it. Let's just jump into it and see what's gonna be happening. So I have the collections, and when it comes to this particular connection, coming back to this, I create the user collection. The thing is that now I have to insert the values, and when it comes to inserting the values, so I have to insert these many values. The another thing is that I need to have the MongoDB URL in order to connect. So let's go to MongoDB URL. Going to use localhost right now. That is faster, first of all, and would be best thing for now. So what am I gonna do? When it comes to the database, MongoDB database locally, so I can create a database. Let's see. So the command, the thing that I have to search, how to run MongoDB in a container. Docker container, Docker. I have the commands written, I have them in my mind as well, but it's better to just simply go through MongoDB work in a Docker container, how to connect with MongoDB. You can go with any one of them most of the time. Docker. I think the top links are gonna be the best ones. So how to run MongoDB container and all. So this is going to be the command. So it will be running on 2727 port. I mean 27017 and name MongoDB example, MongoDB latest. Let's simply copy everything from here. I will be making some changes, but overall this is how it's gonna be going ahead. Then I can just simply execute into it MongoDB example. That is okay. And once I've executed into this, that's okay. So what am I supposed to be doing? First of all, Docker run in detached mode. Port number is gonna be 2727 port. It will be running inside the container. Name is gonna be MongoDB database. So MongoDB, that is okay. Mongo @latest. This will be running that. Apart from this particular thing, what else do I need? This is already running there. Two things I need to define. First of all, the network, but network is only important when you have two containers and they wanna talk to each other. So even that is not needed. The thing that I need to have it over here, that is volume. So I will have a fixed volume. So volume, and how is the volume defined? So first of all, okay, this is something I have to know more about. So how to add the volume, but before even that I can just simply go to my notes, because things are just well written there. So this way I won't have to docker, I won't have to worry about the commands a lot. Otherwise what is the use of creating the notes, right? I think this is the one. Yeah, here we are. So these are the commands that I wrote earlier, and if we want to run MongoDB with, so MongoDB data DB, this is gonna be the folder that will be attached to this. So volume is gonna be Mongo data DB. Over here the data will be stored and it will be attached to this one. Okay, apart from this particular thing, this is for PostgreSQL. And one more thing, if we are actually saving it, this is for the local device and this is for the container. Inside the local device this is going to be created and this will be kind of attached to this particular folder, right? So MongoDB, Mongo data DB, Mongo data DB, MongoDB, and data slash DB. Okay, any better way to do the same thing? Docker run 27 at port, name this network node app net. Again we need the network only when we are working with two containers. Volume is gonna be Mongo data DB, MongoDB data, and data slash DB. So I think this should be it. I mean, let's go with the same. So volume is gonna be MongoDB data. This is gonna be the local on the local device, and data slash DB, it's gonna be on the remote container. So slash data slash DB, this is how it's gonna be going on, and overall nothing else. We are done with everything. It will be running on this, it will be running on detached mode, and let's simply run it, but it will not run because of course permission is denied. Let's add sudo. I can create a one that as well, like get the link from online Mongo Atlas and all, but let's run it locally, why not? And later I can add the link as well, I mean that particular URL. So yeah, I think docker, or more specifically sudo docker process status. So ultimately this is running. So MongoDB is running right now. As MongoDB is running, so I should be able to connect to that, and once I'm connected to that, I can generate what inside that particular container. There can be multiple multiple databases and all, that's obviously. And apart from this particular thing, let me change the URL. So when it comes to changing the URL, so inside I had this here, right, environment variable. First of all, I don't need this, and the second thing is that as far as the URL is concerned, how it's gonna be going on, I mean it will be like Mongo DB slash localhost. Don't know, well I will be rechecking it whether whatever I'm writing to 7017 that's right or not. So @ slash Google Meet DB. Is this right? Let me check it. How will I check it? I must have mentioned it here somewhere. And if I haven't mentioned, then that's my problem. How to define the URL? How to define the URL? Docker compose steps. Okay. MongoDB URL. Connection string database URL. Not here. String. How to connect to MongoDB with the URL. And here we are. So MongoDB admin, and the admin is what? Password.com, then this, and then this. So I already have MongoDB. I have the admin and password. I don't need to have them. I can have localhost over here, and then I have 27017. Then I have the okay, this should work. I think I'm going with the right way. I can get a proper example, so that would be great. Format connection URI with MongoDB database, Prisma IO, schema, auth credentials. Okay, it turns out I'm not gonna be. I got something here. Here it is still saying the same thing, MongoDB username password, but the thing is that in my MongoDB there is no username, there is no password, you can directly connect it to it. And then there are these. I hope I will be able to connect to the database, but let's see how it's gonna be going on. And one more thing, I should quickly be able to search MongoDB, and in this one, coming back to this one, coming back to the code, and okay, nothing is important here. Code, here we are, and this is just for the Mongo client. So MongoDB localhost and 3000, right? I'm not even adding the 3000 here. Sorry, not 3000, 27017. And once I have this new Mongo client, it will be using this with the help of the URL. The URL is gonna be like this. I can just simply search one thing: URL example for Mongo client. That should be it. Connection string, connection MongoDB client Node.js driver. Don't really wanna take the help of AI directly. It's better to just simply look for the things. So MongoDB username, password, host, and so I think the way I'm going with that is more or less right one. URI, and when it comes to URI, not giving me an example to add that connection string. So that's okay. Let's go with this way only, and hopefully it will work. And if it doesn't work, we'll figure out then and there. Okay, so this much is done. And apart from this particular thing, I'm just simply giving it here while connecting. This is how it's getting connected. Okay. So we have this MongoDB localhost 27017 Google Meet. Hopefully it's gonna be working. And when it comes to this, so I'm gonna be copying this, copy this .env file, and inside betterauth, what am I doing? Inside betterauth, I'm using this BD and all, and okay, that's fine. Let's see. Apart from this particular thing, I need to go to the web, and inside this I need to paste this. Once it is pasted, now I can actually go to page.tsx, and I think it is not even needed. Do we need it here? Because we already have our this collection here, and they should be getting that, I mean using that directly. But let's see. First of all, I will be commenting this once it is actually commented. And apart from this particular thing, I need to have the schema here, MongoDB Atlas mainly. I don't have that yet. Yeah, so if I have that, that would be better, so I can directly connect it to the database. Great job for that thing. MongoDB Atlas. Atlas database. I wanna download, bro. Atlas database, get started. It's asking me to sign up, not this one. MongoDB at let's download MongoDB Atlas CLI. This is the one that I want. Okay, so MongoDB Atlas CLI download, that should be enough. So let's simply download it from here. Hopefully it won't take a lot of time. How about the network connectivity? It seems to be quite good, not bad at all. It's downloaded, yeah. So let me open a terminal here, just like this, and that's been downloaded inside downloads. So see downloads ls, and this is the one that I have got. Now I have to install that. So sudo dpkg kg. I have to, what is going to be the input over here? MongoDB password. It's been installed. Nope, not getting that. So what is the problem? Unpacking this setting up CLI. I should not have MongoDB directly here, but how about that CLI that I installed? Atlas CLI MongoDB. Okay, then I have MongoDB. MongoDB Compass download GUI. Oh, CLI I downloaded. Am I crazy? command line interface CLI, crazy stuff. So even if I downloaded CLI MongoDB, so it is saying that it is not found. Exit this, restart it again, and I downloaded that. That's insane. MongoDB. Okay, for some reason it is not even working. So I just downloaded this. By the way, I wanted to have GUI MongoDB this. So Red Hat. This is mainly going to be for Ubuntu, and dev this stable download. And how to check if you have MongoDB CLI installed. Detect if MongoDB is installed on Windows, not on Windows actually. Here, let's check this thing out. Mongo SH version. Mongo SH. Mongo SH. Command not found. So that simply means it hasn't been installed, and that's a good thing. I didn't want that actually. I just wanted the GUI. So coming back to this one, Mongo SH. Yeah, I don't have that. If I don't have Mongo SH, forget about the version. There's no way to even have that. ls cd downloads ls, and this time I have to go with this compass. This is what I wanted. So sudo dpkg input is gonna be MongoDB. Sorry. MongoDB compass. It should be installing the compass at least. Desktop processing triggered. Am I missing something? Okay, got it. Not missing something. It just took some time, like to process the things and all. Started, got it, and I'm gonna be adding a new connection. That's gonna be MongoDB localhost 2707. Name is gonna be local MongoDB. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Local MongoDB. That is enough. Color, can add some color or remove the color, doesn't really matter. It should directly be connecting, so I will connect. And here we are. It is connected. So that's great. Can't really zoom in and all. Is there any option to just change the color? I mean, turn it to the dark mode. Hopefully I will find that. Or there is no option as such. I think there is no option as such settings. Oh, there is. Thank you. I'm gonna be going with this dark. Sync with OS all the time. Save it. So this is how it's gonna be looking like. As for right now, I don't really have any database created over here, so that's gonna be created. So at least this thing is done. ls, what is the next thing? The next thing is to run the project. That's it. Fine. Exit. ls turbo build is simply gonna be building this. Let's see if I even face some errors here. Completely new things, but it's good to go through new things as well. Going with the same thing that you going with the new things that you already know will not make any difference. So build exited. And what is the problem over here? Collecting error. Invalid environment variables. MongoDB URI. Where is that? That is inside somewhere. But somewhere is where? Collecting data using 7 worker failed to connect it to configuration for this. So it is just simply unable to connect. The question is that is there any file name? Web build. So script build. Apps web. Do I need to have the environment variable here as well? Okay, even if I need to have, so okay. Let me uncomment this, and hopefully it's gonna be working fine. I don't know. I mean, is this even required here? So wherever you are using the MongoDB, you need to have the environment variable. It turns out yes, you do. Just like Prisma, even in Prisma we need to do the same thing. I thought here with MongoDB I don't need that, but it turns out I need that. And as soon as this finishes, I should be getting a database here. Let me even pin to dash. And once this is actually pinned to dash, uh, I'm actually gonna be keeping it somewhere here. And let's check this thing out. Let me refresh it. And this is the Google Meet database. It contains user and the wow, great job. Everything is done. We have our user over here. Again, I can't zoom in, but can't. Oh, I can. Like this. So I have this user, and this user has this database. The thing is that we are unable to use Mongoose. Otherwise, we would be writing models as well. BetterAuth doesn't support Mongoose directly, and we have to use BetterAuth for the authentication thing and all. So that is okay, not a problem. Okay, but ultimately, we are getting there, and it has been done. And once it's done, Control W, and over here, I'm gonna be making a what request. So const. First of all, let's simply comment this. Result is gonna be equals to await. And one more thing I want to ask. Control C. This. Can I use await outside the function, like in normal JS or TS page directly? Let's see. Yes, you can use await outside a function, but it depends on the environment. This is called top level await. In modern JavaScript TypeScript ES module, if your file is treated as ES module, you can write await this without wrapping it inside a sync function. So this. So this works in Node.js, Next.js, modern bun. And when will it not work? It will fail. The file treated as common.js, so it will be problematic over there. That's okay. That's okay. And Next.js, your case, since you are using Next.js, so it will definitely work. One important thing for MongoDB, you usually should not create a new connection every time. Then call it inside functions. Huh? This client DB collections users. Okay, short answer, yes you can. It is saying that you should not create it over and over collection. So when it comes to get users collection, so I will be creating the collection like this, so it will be created only once, right? And then I will get it from here. So you should not create a new connection every time. So better pattern is going to be this, and that's what I'm following, I think. Okay, let's see. It's done. So once this is done, so await, and I already have my user collection. Now I wanna find one. I mean, there are many, and I'm gonna be finding one. Let's find all, just like this. Once I found all of them, result. So ultimately, once I got the result, what is that result going to be like? That result is just gonna be an array. So what to name this? Yeah. I'm just worried about the name. Let me ask this. Control C. What to name the result? Result, response, documents. What should be the best name? Best name. User cursor. Oh. Find returns cursor, not the actual document, so the variable name should reflect that. So it should be user cursor. Here name user cursor makes more sense and all. Cursor this, once I have the cursor, so if you convert it to an array, most common, so by default it actually returns you a cursor, and that is right, and then I'll have to convert to an array. So here's the result, and then I will be getting the users and all. So this is how it's gonna be going ahead. Having said that, I'm gonna be checking both of them. So first of all, let me get the user cursor. So users, what was that? Users cursor. users cursor, just like this, and clg users cursor. Let's simply check this thing out. Not users cursor, just like this. Time to check this thing out exactly how it goes and all. And if I want it, so enter turbo dev, I think this should be fine. Forget about even building this. Okay, let's go here. Next.js, let's wait for a while, let it compile, let the things get done, and then I should be getting here. Yeah, so this is the cursor that we get. This is the value that is okay. If I want to go up, then u, so u, so this is the cursor value. Find cursor, Google Meet database, then MongoDB URL, this is the one, namespace technology, and cursor namespace MongoDB, collection is gonna be users primary, and how about when I convert it to the array? So if I actually stop it, and if I just simply make it a users, will I be getting all the users? And if I'm gonna be converting it to array, just like this, any problem? Yeah, control C, control V, this is how it's gonna be going on. Hopefully it's gonna be right. Let's write again, taboo. I think I just need to reload the page, that's it, nothing else. So this, so I get it twice, so ultimately I'm getting this. So I need to convert it to array every time. So let me just check it. Do I need to convert it to array with find one as well? No, you do not need to array with the find one, because find one is already returns a single document, not a cursor. So find returns a cursor, find one does not return, find one directly returns document and all, so no need to worry about that, and that's good. That is why even I asked. So this is done. So ultimately what we are able to accomplish here, we are actually able to accomplish a lot. The thing is that we are able to just, we have the database, and with the database we are able to correct the collection and all. So if I go to my database over here, inside my database I have this particular collection, and from getDB ultimately I'm getting my database, and using the database I'm actually creating the users collection. So if I go to my client, first of all, from the client, only client is being exported. I have a lot of code here, I copied and pasted from the auth.js. So if you don't know auth, I mean I first of all understand the code. The second thing is that I copied and pasted from here because they have written it quite well, and if something's already written, so what is the use of worrying about the things? So MongoDB database, and MongoDB, here it is. Coming back to this one, here it is. So this code I'm using there, and they are just simply doing nothing but creating the client. So using this particular method, a new MongoDB client, with the help of the URI, they're creating the client, but they are doing it this way because in Next.js you call MongoDB connect over and over, and if your client has been created once, connection has been established once, it should not be getting established again, and because of that thing you write it this way. And again, got it everything from here, from the documentation, nothing could be better. Coming back to this section, so I have already explained this yesterday a lot, so we will not go through the things that we have already gone through. And get a database simply gets the client, and after that client.db simply returns me the database. Once I got the database, then inside my users I'm gonna be creating the collection. So using the database I'm gonna be creating the collection has also been created. One more thing, it's good to use if I go to the getDB, it's good to use client.connect. Even if you don't use that, it's gonna be working directly, not really a big problem, but calling is a good option. Having said that, one more question that I had before I slept, when I slept last night, and that is will I have to call client.connect in every in every method of actions. Okay, no, you should not call client connect in every action or method. That would create many databases, yeah, which is insufficient and can crash your app. Instead you should create a one shared MongoDB client and reuse it. This is the standard correct way. This uh, MongoDB client got the URI, created the client, got the promise, and then returning the promise. Connected to the client, returning the promise, and then this promise is going to be used. So inside these actions, await client. So I have to get the promise here, and the thing is that, and this promise is going to be cached. There is a problem. What is the problem? The problem is that I'm exporting this. I'm directly exporting the client from here, and I'm exporting it because that's how it's been mentioned here. So in this particular section, the client is directly being exported. As the client is directly being exported, at last I just need my promise, right? So get DB. From the DB I'm returning the database, and from index TS I'm returning everything. That simply means I'm even returning the client when it comes to the client, so I can connect to it directly, and that is right. So client dot connect, but connecting to it again, uh, just a minute. Mm. I have this client. Okay, got it. Gonna be just knowing more about it. I have this client already. Okay, and once I have this particular client, then what am I doing? I'm exporting the DB from here. So I'm already exporting the DB. Using the DB I can get the collection. After getting the collection, I can just simply make a call to the database. So in that case, because I need to DB, and after DB I need to get create the collection, but I'm already exporting the collection. So in that way I should directly be able to use the collection. So here uh, I got the DB, and after getting the DB I'm creating the collection as well. So this is the collection that I'm creating, and I'm exporting that particular connection. So the question is, as I am already exporting the collection, should I use directly, or forget about should, can't I use it directly? Yes, you can use the collection directly, but there is an important detail about when the connection happens. So let's have a look at your flow. Client get DB, get user collection. So get user collection, just simply this thing, await DB, and user collection get this. So get user collection, get DB, client connect, database. So yes, this is already correct way. Can you export the collection directly? Technically you could write something like collection is gonna be client DB and collection users, but this is not safe. Client connector, no, blah 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 blah. Okay, so correct pattern would be user collection is gonna be get users collection. So this why people wrap collections in functions? So DB, get DB. Once I got the database, then find. So you can write user get collections, user collection, and user collection find to array. And a small improvement, async users collection, get database, DB collections users. So user collection await collections. Some developers rename it to show its asynchronous nature. So user collections and users collection. Okay, users collection, and then I can just simply await it. So it's all about naming it, right? One small improvement for your get DB, and that's gonna be right now you do await. Yeah, I do every time get DB runs. MongoDB won't reconnect if already connected, but cleaner pattern could be let db is gonna be there if interesting actually. Ooh. If I already have db, in that case I don't have to create the db again, and that is such a good thing. And final answer, yes, you can use the collections directly. That simply means when I use collection, because it's been generated using client in next js database connection gets established without calling client dot connect again. Is that so? Dude, no, not the connection does not automatically establish just because you created a collection object. Let's clarify it. So collection does not connect to the database. So this MongoDB does not connect this MongoDB does not connect yet. So it simply creates a reference object that collection. So at this point, Mongo client created a collection references created no connection yet. Mongo client is created, Mongo collection is created, no. So collection happens when a query runs. So the connection is established when the first database operation happens. So client DB collection users collection this. So at this moment, MongoDB will automatically open the connection if it isn't already open. So this is called lazy collection. So MongoDB client created a collection reference created a query executed find insert and update. Mongo driver opens connection automatically. Why many tutorials still call client.connect. Developers often explicitly call this because it ensures the connection is ready before queries. Error appears early, predictable, but technically the driver can connect automatically when needed. So in Next.js apps, common pattern could be get DB, get the DB from here, client connect, and once you have the DB, then get the collection, and using the collection, MongoDB will not reconnect every time. The driver keeps connection pool internally. MongoDB will not reconnect every time. The driver keeps connection pool internally. Final answer, your statement database connection gets established. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, but the thing is that in Prisma PostgreSQL, we have to connect to database before anything else, right? And how do we connect to the database? Forgot the method. Got the client. Turbo repo Prisma PostgreSQL Turbo repo. I think even here we don't have to do that. Only if you are using Mongoose, at that time you have to call it over and over, and here it gets done directly. This is actually what happens. So you don't really need to worry about calling it again and again. Let me ask this question. That means we don't need to connect again in actions. Yes, MongoDB, in most cases you don't need to call client and all. So server starts, MongoDB client created first query of first connector, first query or first connect call, connection pool established, all connection actions reuse the same connection. So in Next.js server actions you typically do this: a user call, get users, get the collection. After that simply make a call. You don't manually reconnect every time. What actually happens internally, even if your getDB function contains this, Mongo client checks internally if is a client already connected. Just reuse connection pool, no create a new connection. So it doesn't create a new connection every time. Typical production pattern can be get database from here, safe to call repeatedly. So whenever I'm getting the database, because of course I'm getting the database over here, well, I'm getting the connection directly. That's actually a good stuff. Okay, fine. So and after that return client db, anywhere await get db or get user collections. You do not need to call it normally. Okay, got it. So this particular thing is done. One extra safe thing that I can do, and that safe thing is this particular stuff over here. So not this stuff, from where I'm actually returning the database. So client db, I'm actually returning the database over here. So what I can do, this is not needed because again it is handled automatically, but in case I will just simply check if not db only, then do this else db, else what, else return db, and here db is gonna be this, and return db. Any problem? As for the type of this db, MongoDB, what is the type? Let's forget about the type. DB explicitly has any type, so let's give it any type. I think that's what it just suggested right at the top. Somewhere. How will I get that? Gonna be quite hard to get that, but okay, I will find that out. Oh, here it is. By the way, the type is actually DB. Where it comes from, I have no idea. And then it is just simply checking whether it already exists or not, and on the basis of that thing it just simply returns. I can even make it like this. Okay. Whether it runs or not, it will be running, it will be getting returned every time. So this way it can go ahead with so kind of cleaner way to just simply write that the same way it's been described over here. And as for the type db, how will I get this db? It comes directly from MongoDB. Amazing job, didn't know this. So you can directly get the type this db, and this is how it's gonna be working. Just a bit safer, nothing else. And now next time onwards, we are already creating the collections over here, so we will import these collections, and once they are imported we will be able to use them. And by the way, get users collections or users collection, this is a better name, users collection. Coming back to this page, this is actually gonna be this users collection, and I hope the name is right, users collection. Okay. Users collection. Oh, it should be user collection. Okay, and no, users collection, that's the right name. We should be going with the right naming conventions too. So the name whatever we are using, that should be the best one over there. So that's why I just thought of using this. So ultimately this thing is clear. Right now, what is the next thing? The next thing is that I have to go to the documentation of better auth, because I have to implement that. So better auth. Oh, documentation, prompt, MCP, skills. It has changed the interface, and this is just an example, right? Is it okay? I can directly go through. This is just the interface, like the examples and all, how it goes. Let's click on docs. And let's click on introduction, not really needed. CLI options, Okay, comparison not really needed. Installation is the thing that I need. Then npm bun add better auth. Do I have better auth there? No, I don't have that. Do I need to have it here? Of course I need to have it here. Inside what? Inside apps ls cd web cd web ls control shift v bun add better auth. That's gonna be added here. What is the next thing? Set environment variables. Do I have the environment variable? Yes. Better auth secret. Let's simply generate it, copy it, come back here inside the environment variable. Better auth secret. Okay, it is needed when we are connecting and all. And okay, let's go with this. Later I will think exactly what is the right place to just simply keep it. For now, let's simply go ahead like this. So this thing is done too. Better auth. Once secret is generated, this thing is done. Better auth. Oh, set a base URL, and it needs to be there inside the app only. So ultimately, I need to have only this much section inside the auth packages. So this auth that I created inside this, I have this, and what it does, it simply gives me this auth. And what is this auth connection? So let me ask this thing as well. Do I need to do only this much inside packages slash auth? With the auth MongoDB, this it's gonna be exported from here. Once it is exported from here, then I can just simply get it, and once I get it, I'm just simply email password enabled and all. I will be fixing this. Usually it is inside lib. I am keeping it here, and I will configure everything over here. And once everything is actually configured, secret typically package db auth index.ts, and final answer inside this. This is enough for basic setup. That's great. Let's continue. So by the way, I have to go through the documentation, this one. So we have done this much. Now what is the next thing? Next thing is that we have to create lib folder, and we have to create utilities folder, create a file name auth.ts in one of these. Okay, in one of these. By the way, we already have auth separate, so we don't even need to do that. We are already doing it there. Apart from this particular thing, better auth new database, and I'm gonna be using MongoDB. So this is how it's getting done. So done as well. Create database tables. We don't really need to do that because we are using MongoDB, and Mongoose is not being used over here. Authentication methods. Great. Copy paste. Kind of. So let's do this. In email and password, I'm just gonna be enabling email and password authentication for now. Later I will be enabling more, because of course once we start working, it's not gonna be getting over like this. So enable email and password, and this is gonna be set to true. Just like this. Again, I will be sending the emails and all, and it is just simply saying this is enabled, and email and password authentication. Then whenever the authentication actually happens, I have to send the emails and all to the users. Social providers, I can even add a social provider, but as for this social provider, should I add it here directly right now, or should I do it later? I'll do it later, not now. Mount handler, and then I have to create a mount handler. So what do I have to do? In Next.js app router, right? So I need to go to app, then API, then auth. So let's do that. Come back to this particular section over here. Let's collapse everything inside web, inside app. In what I have to create API. So folder API, inside API I have to create auth. So let me make it directly API. Okay, just inside that I can create two. So auth all route.ts, auth slash all, it will be just accepting all of them, slash route.ts. This much I've done, and Hey, sorry, did not work as expected. I think it should rather be like this. Let me remove everything. Sorry, this year. What should I actually be doing? This API slash auth slash dot 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 all slash route dot ts, and here we are. It is ready, and I think that's the one. API auth dot dot all routes. What is the next thing? The next thing is that uh, either copy and paste. Let's simply do that. I need to have two next.js. It's better to write the code instead of copying and pasting. Two next.js handler, and I need to pass auth over here that I will be getting, and this two next.js handler will just simply give me two methods, and they are gonna be post and get, and I will just simply export them from here. So what do we have to do here? Coming back to this particular section, export const. I need to export some methods, but before even this thing, I need to have two next.js handler, just like this. Once I have this, I have to pass auth over here that I don't have yet. I get that, but I have to pass auth over here, and once I passed that, so I will be exporting. I will be getting few methods over here, and there's more methods. What pronunciation I have? Post and get methods, and they are going to be exported from here, and this is how we are gonna be going ahead. The question is that how will you get this auth? We are already exporting the auth from here, so inside packages auth, this, and auth is getting exported from here. I hope I have written it the right way. So I'm exporting this from here. Once it is actually being exported from here, so I need to import it. So import auth, amazing job. Okay, it turns out I don't have that, so let me have that. At the rate repo slash auth, I want to have it, I want to import it here, just like this. After that, ls, I will have to run bun install, and bun is gonna be installing it. Should be fine. Even I have to use Zod for validation and all. Let's see how it's gonna be going on. I need to validate the data that I get properly. Having said that, right now if I try to import this, I should be getting that import. It should be getting imported from here. So right now, as I have that, let's simply close everything. No need to worry about anything else. So we have done kitna jaldi. There. This thing we've done. Create client instances. So right now I have to just simply create the client instance. So auth client.ts. This is mainly gonna be the for the front end section. So I'm inside a lib. I'm gonna be creating auth client.ts, and let me ask this. So over here, where should I, though I know it, but in the when it comes to using turbo repo, in that particular situation, where should I keep it? What is the best place to keep this particular file? So where should I keep auth client client.ts? Turbo repo setup with Next.js better auth clients should live in the front end app. Thank you very much. Not in the shared auth folder. So region, the client is used in the browser to call the auth APIs. So keep it inside lib, and that is what actually was suggested there. So auth will contain better auth server configuration. Lib will contain, because it will be used for the front end side and all. Package auth server configuration, better auth. This front end, and that's okay. Great job. By the way, let's go through the documentation. Continue with this. So what do we have to do? Inside lib we have to create auth client.ts. So I'm gonna be going with this. So don't I have lib here? So where should be the this lib? Lib should be directly on the top. I mean root dir, if I'm not wrong. So I have this app inside this web. Actually, inside this web, I have to create this lib, and once the lib is created, then that's gonna be auth client.ts. So auth client.ts. Once I have this, what is the next thing? The next thing is that create auth client. You will be getting it from better auth react. You have to call that. You have to provide the base URL. The base URL, the server, optional if you are using the same domain. My frontend is one more minute. Same domain means what? Sorry. Let me know more about it. Control C. I can copy paste, I can use it, but if I don't know it, then I don't wanna do the things blindly, right? We should not do that. What does the comment mean here? Base URL, because front end and backend both of them will be running on the same port. That's of course port 3000. The comment means base URL is optional if your front end and auth API are on the same domain. For example, and then this. Let's understand it clearly. When front end and backend are on the same domain. Example with Next.js. Front end this, backend this, both are on the same domain. So the client automatically sends the request like this API or sign in sign up session. Because of this, you do not need a base URL. You can simply write this and something like this. Okay, when front end and backend are on different ports, so front end on this, backend on this, so now client must know where the auth server is. So export this to this, so then request will go to this in your setup. Since the question is, if I use better auth, that's going to be used inside Next.js setup only. So how can my front end and back end be different, be running on different ports and yeah, this happens depending on how your app is structured. Even if you use better auth, your front end and backend can still run on different ports depending on the architecture. So same port, typically Next.js full stack app, you build everything inside this, both front end and backend run together. So this is how it goes. Yeah. So the same server handles React UI, API, authentication, database. In this case, create auth is enough, no base URL needed. Different ports separate backend server. Sometimes developers separate the backend. Example architecture. Front end Next.js, okay, 3000. Backend Node Express, and this. Oh my god! What I was thinking. First of all, let me go through it. If that is actually so, that's gonna be crazy. HTTP localhost 4000 API auth. Now the frontend must know where the backend is. So create client, base URL is gonna be this. So Mongo mono repo with multiple apps turbo repo. Since you mentioned turbo repo, this is the situation common. So web API backend server 4000 and production deployment, front end and backend, they are gonna be different ones. I'm digesting it right now. Base URL API, for example, for a current setup from your earlier message, you are doing Next.js better auth MongoDB and this. So your setup is likely this. Everything is one server, therefore you can simply use this. And no base URL needed. Even if you leave a base URL, this in development mode is usually works, but it's unnecessary. The thing is that even if you have separate backend like Express backend, you can still use better auth. I didn't know this. I thought better auth is only for Next.js. So if you are building front end and back end both on Next.js, then it's going to be used. Does that mean even if my backend is using Express server, I can still use better auth when I am using Next.js for front end? Yes, you can use better auth even if your backend is in Express server. Wow. While using Next.js only for the front end. Better auth is a framework agnostic on the server. It does not require Next.js. It can run on express. Oh no, first if I this, so your architecture could look like this: front end Next.js localhost 3000, back end this. I will use it separately. Why? Because I want to know how it's used. Auth endpoints, so localhost 4000 API auth and this API auth this. That simply means better auth is going to be used there. So your front end will talk to the express server like this. My front end will talk to the express server like this. So I will create the express server. What the hell? Ooh. Is this possible? I'm actually using better auth inside express server. Oh my god. Literally. Front end will listen for the request over here. And once I have my auth client, I will just simply make the request. The request will be sent there directly, automatically. So now the front end calls this API auth sign in automatically. It calls this automatically. And express backend, better auth, MongoDB adapter. That simply means now I can use Mongoose on the backend side. Not really, not really, not really. Even when I have my express server with a better auth, I still can't use Mongoose. Is that so? Yes, generally that's correct. When using better auth with MongoDB, the official adapter expects a native Mongo client. This is not Mongoose. So why Mongoose usually isn't the best, and also that is okay. And the other thing is that give me all the steps to create a server with better auth. I will not copy and paste. I just want to know all the steps. Better auth for Next.js frontend. Below is the complete step by step. So Next.js frontend 3000, Express backend 4000, better auth, and copy. Then technologies use this, okay. And then mkdir this auth server init npm install express better auth @better auth MongoDB adapter MongoDB course.env npm install TypeScript ts node. Okay, this. So npx init tsc init, okay. So auth. So inside our server I have source db mongo.ts auth.ts and server.ts. I have these. Then they are gonna be looking like this. So client MongoDB client, and I will get this. Once I got this, I will return the client from here. Configure better auth. Once when it comes to the better auth, I'm gonna be configuring it like this. I'm gonna be enabling these many things. Once this is done, create express server. So express server course, it will be getting that API. It will be just simply getting auth.handler from this. And what am I actually doing over here right now? This is on the client side, by the way, auth.handler. So this is the API related stuff. So if I actually check that thing out, app API route.ts to Next.js handler. To Next.js handler, and we are using this auth handler. I hope all the things are actually mentioned inside the documentation as well. But API auth this and auth.handler, then you are gonna be getting so requests are gonna be coming to this. Add environment variable, so we will be adding that. After that, start a backend server. It's gonna be started. Once it is started, run this. Set up Next.js frontend. So create this @latest, install BetterAuth over here. Once it is installed, create a client and add the base URL over here. So this tells the front end where the auth server is. I have this auth client, and then auth client sign up email. I'm gonna be signing up like this. So when I sign up, at that time the request will automatically be sent to the sign up. Sign in is gonna be done like this. Auth client, I will be getting the sessions like this. And so what happens from the next is auth client, express server, this BetterAuth MongoDB. Pro tip, that's gonna be use course, and this credentials true. Oh my god, कुछ ज़्यादा ही पता चल गया आज. I never expected that this is even possible. BetterAuth with express integration BetterAuth. Here we are, the documentation. पता तो होना चाहिए, तब तो हम documentation देखेंगे. Finally I know this. I didn't know this, यार, literally. I thought that this is only possible with Next.js. With Next.js you can use BetterAuth, that is it. But it is not like that. So everything is actually mentioned here. So we are actually supposed to be using two node handler instead of going with this. So I will rather go with this particular documentation over here. And this way I already have a project called a tech whatever. So I will go with the same process there. Right now, as I have written this much code, so let's not change anything here. But such a good thing this is, and I'm actually glad to know this thing. I will have to just simply go through the documentation. This is all about this, and we can even use with the Nest.js. I don't know about it. Fastify, know a little bit. Okay, not a problem. But yeah, the thing is that we can use BetterAuth with Express. So ultimately we can create a server with BetterAuth, and we'll be using BetterAuth on the Next.js as well. And over here we have to just simply change the base URL and it will be done. Which base URL? Ultimately, come on here, I should be coming here and auth client, I think, no, leave auth client. Let's simply copy and paste the code right now. Copy and paste in the sense, go to get started, installation, and after coming back to this one, I'm gonna be reaching this particular section, and in this particular section, create auth client is something that I need. As for the base URL, that is not necessary, at least right now. So what do I have to export from here? And I have to export auth client. So export const auth client, and that's gonna be create auth client from BetterAuth client. Is that so? From BetterAuth React actually. So coming back to this one, client client BetterAuth client or BetterAuth React. It needs to be imported from BetterAuth React, and that is it. It should be enough for now. Later I can add more things, but that's it, done. And then export wow, you can also export specific methods if you prefer. I mean, that's actually a better way. So instead of doing it like this, I'm gonna be exporting methods, and they are gonna be sign in. What are they? Sign in, sign up, and use session. Sign in, sign up, use a session, probably sign out if I need, and that is it. So ultimately overall setup is ready, and once the setup is ready, now I should be able to just simply use a BetterAuth for signing up and all. And now the most important thing is gonna be creating the pages and all. So I already have my this app, and how to differentiate the pages and all. So how to differentiate structure. If I'm using BetterAuth, there is API. So I already have a code that is based on BetterAuth, right? I just want to know about the folder structure, and for that thing I can go to this one. And coming to this one, you have to go to the source. Once you are in the source, you have app. Once you are inside the app, you have auth, you have main, you have this API. So ultimately we can create separate folders. we can create separate folders, and once we have them, will get the job done. And this is mainly for the authentication and all. So we will be going with the same way. Inside this, we are gonna be creating separate folders. So simply means I will have auth related stuff here. Well, this is not the right way, so let me wrap it inside parentheses, just like this. And similarly, I will have main folder here. Main in the sense they are gonna be the main ones. Like I will have all the authenticated pages inside main, and auth is mainly for the authentication. That simply means inside this I will have sign up, and then inside this I will have sign in, and this is how it's gonna be going on. Let me see exactly what is the name of the things here. So they are the sign in, sign up, okay. And then I can have many more. I can have forgot password, I can have reset password, and that is okay. As for forgot password, reset password, I will not really have them. I'm just simply gonna be going with sign up and this, and inside them I can just simply create the pages. So page.tsx, and similarly over here page.tsx. But this is not done yet. Now we of course need to work on the front end part, because overall things are done, so we had better just simply start working on this. But before even this, the overall goal is to use Daisy UI, shared CN, Daisy UI, I mean all these things. And one state way is that just directly import them inside this app and start using them. The another way is that actually keep them inside UI over here. So or create another, I mean they should be kept inside UI if I'm not wrong. So keep them here and create the create the cards over here, create the buttons over here, create the code over here if you need. Ultimately create the components here. But for creating the components here, I will have to, because this is mainly optimized for Tailwind right now if I'm not wrong. I'm not even sure if Tailwind is being used here. So package, even Tailwind is not being used over here. So I will have to configure it and so that I can just write the components over here. They are going to be exported from here to there, and I will import it inside app, and I will be able to use this. So this is the thing that is still remaining. Again, there are blocks on it. So how to use Tailwind with turbo repo. So Tailwind CSS with the turbo repo. If you just write this Bunex create a turbo repo at the latest, at the end of the day, it will just simply give you the example file. But we don't really want any example file, rather we will have to create everything on our own from scratch. So it turns out we'll have to do it everything, and never mind, we will do it. We will have to just simply configure the things like this. Once it is configured, the another thing is that shared CN with turbo repo. So when it comes to shared CN, so I think shared CN can directly be used that, but let's see, shared CN UI, no, let's see how it's gonna be going on. But overall things should be fine. UI inside this, I need to have these many things. So ultimately, yeah, we can get it done, but we will have to get many things configured. How to implement shared CN with the Tailwind 4 in turbo repo. This is the blog, and I think the last time I went this with this blog only. So I just followed this and just got everything fixed up. So yeah, again, because the simple thing is that shared CN is mainly built for Next.js, not even Next.js, for React.js applications. But here, when it comes to this UI, that's actually not gonna be the code of React.js or Next.js. No, actually shared CN is mainly built for Tailwind. And there is a reason behind this, just a sec. So if I go to the top, they must have been mentioned that. So let's go step by step by how to implement this. So run the following command, create this UI, the package, install Tailwind CSS4, navigate to this, and the code CLI will not work out of the box in the setup because our package UI isn't based on any specific framework like React and Next.js. Yeah, that's what I was saying. our framework needs to be based on React or Next.js, but that UI is not based on that, and because of that thing we will have to configure everything on our own, and that is why I will have to just go with these are the three things. We already have it here. Now it's all about setting up, and I'll be back to set up. How long has it been? It's been 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's great. So the goal is to just work on this project for 3 hours, and that simply means the 1 hour and 40 minutes are still remaining. So I'll be back. I'm just gonna be going for having some breakfast and all, and after that I'll be back and I'll continue from here on. Until then, take care, bye bye, and see you. Have a great day ahead.